This is our last example today, and we're going to work on both sides of this one. You'll see why. The first thing I'm noticing is the negatives. They'll probably make it, we want to use the odd and even identities to get rid of those negatives. Okay, let me read through this for you in case you can't see it very well. We have 1 minus sine squared t on the top over 1 minus cosecant of negative t on the bottom equals 1 plus sine of negative t over the cosecant of t. Generally t stands for time, and a lot of trig problems end up having time as the domain because it's like a wave, you know, like the spring lab we were going to do. A wave of something that's repeating over a certain amount of time. So, anyway, let's go ahead and start working on the left side first. Right off, I'm not going to do anything with the top of the fraction first. I'm just going to work on that odd function issue here. So since cosecant is an odd function, meaning that it's symmetric to the origin, odd functions, when you do a negative here, you can get rid of that negative by putting a negative here instead. But there's already a negative there. So changing this to positive and this to negative will overall give us positive. So it will be 1 plus cosecant t. Okay? Then from the Pythagorean identity, 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared. And then let's leave the bottom like that. Now, I don't see anything else I could do with that side. And it definitely doesn't look like this side yet. So I think we now need to work on the right side of the problem. So again, remember, we can't move anything across that equal sign. We can just work on the sides separately. Okay, again we have this odd function issue here, so we're going to change this to a positive and this to a negative, so we'll have 1 minus sine t over cosecant t. And then notice the conjugate in this problem. Alright, I mean the 1 minus sine t, when you see something like that, a conjugate is a good thing to try. So I'm going to do a 1 plus sine t on the top and the bottom. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and FOIL that out. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then this is a difference of squares, so our inside-outside terms cancel. And then we have negative sine times positive sine will be a negative sine squared t. Then on the bottom I'm going to go ahead and distribute that through. So cosecant t times 1 is just cosecant t plus cosecant t times sine t. Okay, now the top of the fraction, of course, becomes our Pythagorean identity again, which is cosine squared. The bottom of the fraction, I'm going to go ahead and change just this cosecant to 1 over sine. So I have 1 over sine t for that cosecant times this sine t, and I put it over 1 so that's going to be easier to multiply. Well, what's going to happen? I'm going to have sine t over sine t, which is 1, right? So take that last step further. Notice the side over here that we did earlier, and we now have a match, right side and left side matching. So even though we worked on each side separately, that's fine because we now have them matching at the end. I realize the 1 is reversed here, but you guys know that that's still equal, right?